Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, December 13, 2023. Well, that's 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We have time for change call tonight. Be there, be square, as they said years ago. There's some things that we need to clear up that are going on out there, just for starters. It's interesting, we come here to this planet, we incarnate in these physical bodies with no memory at all, zero memory. Then we go about rediscovering who and what we are. And this is part of our unique soul's destiny. Every human came here to release the lie that their soul was fed. They came to re-experience the feelings of being confused, rejected, abandoned, hated, suppressed, depressed, stuck, in order to transcend them all. We needed to step harder on the thorn hiding in our shoe in order to stop hiking up this great mountain and remove it with love. At some point, every day, we each run into some feeling of being stuck, blocked, or challenged by something or someone. We aren't quite sure what it is. And we feel limited, small, powerless, and suppressed from our full expression. Now, every human mind already has the program installed to throw itself into some emotional dumpster repeatedly. There are many little thorns hiding in our shoes that we are unaware of. Thus, something terrible happens in the outer world. We get dumped by a lover, we end up trashing our self-esteem or our love for life, our feeling of being empowered, and falling into some treacherous feeling of being locked up in an emotional prison we cannot escape from. All of this thorny karma we carry may sound terribly depressing, yet it's good to remember that this universe is more loving, mysterious, and intelligent than we could ever imagine. This is a very beautiful yet unobvious reason why this divinely intelligent, deeply eternal loving universe has set life up to throw each and every one of us through experiences of emotional pain, agony, and suffering. And the reason is so that we stop everything we are doing and become deeply inspired to evolve in a spiritual dimension. The spiritual path is the only way we can remove all our thorns and break out of our thick mental and emotional prisons. Now, maybe the only problem is that the mind tends to get lazy and wrapped up in old habit and would never search for the keys to our spiritual freedom unless we felt deeply trapped, imprisoned, or stuck. The mind loves to create these emotional prison cells in the brain, as each one provides new fuel to blast off into a new experience of creativity, growth, evolution, movement, and eventually reach total liberation. So, we all have these wonderfully perfect prickly prisons constructed inside of us. Each one is destined to create a deep yearning and desire to be free. Now, we can reject this idea, ignore it, or accept it. Just notice what happens inside your body either way. This search for freedom is as much our destiny as the prisons we've placed ourselves in. There are no real enemies in this world. There are only imaginary shadows. The thorns in our shoes can be removed. And once we realize that they are also created by our own imagination, we must choose to move beyond the mind through the unconscious, righteous mind that believes it is aware, yet is truly ignorant and not worshiping the great mystery 24 hours a day. It is this ignorance that is our only real enemy. Ignorance is the enemy. The mind that is deeply stuck in thought, in ego, and will only strive to create something new when some form of horrific pain, fear, or slavery begins bubbling up inside. The mind is imagining everything that we're experiencing right now. Right in this very now. It is believing that our thoughts, beliefs, and all our limitations are real. And they're not. It is entertaining the feeling that being financially stuck is real. And it isn't. Or that our relationships are never going to improve, or we will always live in the same house forever, which we won't. It has this idea that whatever challenging life experience that we're having right now just may be that way forever. The sensations of emotional prison sure do feel real, don't they? Yet when we step back from them, we see they are just a conglomeration of negative thoughts. When we step back from the mind with awareness, that's the key. Stepping back the mind with awareness, we can understand that we are the ones who have thrown ourselves into jail with our imagination. And from this awareness, then we can step out of jail just with using our sweet, simple, yet all-powerful imagination. One who knows the self has nothing more to do, nor has he any more thoughts. From then on, the infinite power will carry out all further actions that may be necessary for him, Ramana Maharishi. Now, any of us, at any time, with awareness, can generate, create an out-of-jail pass. Right? So we must gift it to ourselves. We must choose to accept that everything and everyone in this life is a part of this deep, sweet, holographic, infinite mystery. In this acceptance, we stop feeling limited. We see how our imagination is co-creating everything, designing this entire thing we deem as reality. Then and only then can we understand what it takes to be free. See, we create all this. No matter what your ego mind's telling you, no matter what the social programming is telling you, we create all this. We create our lives. We actually create our destiny. We create every smidgen of everything. And yet, many of us do not have a clue about that. Isn't that ironic? We create everything. We create all the turmoil out there, all the ups and downs, all the stresses, all the fears, all the anxieties, all the worries. We create them. And, of course, we've been programmed to believe what? What have we been programmed to believe? That it's all outside of us. It really, how many times, just in this lifetime, you have seen, heard, or felt the crap about you being weak, insignificant, powerless, okay? How many times? Or maybe where you actually, by yourself, thought that. Now, by us knowing what is creating thought, we stop believing in all of its fantasies. We realize that any potential feeling of slavery is a choice from here on out. We understand that we always have the free will and choice in how we wish to interact and engage with any thought that enters the mind, and can keep it like a winning lottery ticket or toss it away like a used banana peel. You grab a thought, right? Now, when you're not aware, it's just automatic. You believe it's your thought. So you move energy into form, create it into reality, and you experience it. We do that with everything. But you will get to the point with your journey within where you will start identifying, not judging, identifying different things that come in. You'll identify thoughts that aren't yours. You'll know immediately. That's not my thought, that's the ego mind's thought. Not interested in engaging in it. They just float by. Every now and then you might grab one and say, oh, this one, let's see, look at this one. Okay. I'll use this thought. And then you begin to realize that you send your own thoughts out. And what you send out is what creates everything around you. Everything. And it's up to us to not hold on to any beliefs that show up about ourselves, others, and this life. Not hold on to any beliefs that show up about ourselves, others, and this life. Choose the mystery over certainty, just because it is more exciting. It's simply more interesting to not know than to know. Now, when we're living within the mystery 24 hours a day, we suddenly find ourselves becoming spontaneous, free from hesitation, doubt, barely have any fear. It requires all the courage that we have to keep choosing the mystery over the normal way of being human. Yet, we are much more likely to experience our fears as some weird, bubbling state of excitement than something we run from. We might even see our life as this wild, passionate birthing of random desires to engage and disengage from. Ultimately, it is a mystery how long or short our life is going to last. So why not start embracing it now? When we embrace the mystery as a way of living life, the mysterious way keeps us truly alive. We start abiding in a state of wonder and deep curiosity about everything. We stop defining who we are and start realizing that truly we are actually indefinable. We start seeing amazing, intelligent energy is here now, directly in front of our eyes. Everything is a habit. We exude habit. And all these things, these illusions that aren't real, become destructive habits. And our human mind can entertain. It is a disease of the psyche, which forms when we feel disconnected from our soul and our spiritual roots. Something happens in this life, and a perpetual stream of negative fear-based thoughts flood into our head and begin repeating themselves over and over and over again. Fearful feelings bubble up inside, fill the narrowing mind with doubt and resistance to trusting to life. The thing we are worried about may or may not manifest, yet the mind clenches too tight and is able to let go and relax. When we rely only on the logical, rational mind to serve as our guide and forget what it's like to live from our heart, we then become lost in the trail of perpetual tension left behind in the mind's anxious what-if thinking. Now, whether you're a worrier, anxiety habit, fear habit, all that stuff, inside us will have lost its spiritual roots. It's forgotten how to deeply enjoy this life. To be free from attachments in this world and trust that everything is always unfolding perfectly in this divine, all-intelligent universe, which never, ever makes mistakes. Many of us do not trust our spiritual connection to this universe. Now, this disconnection creates the assumption that we are powerless beings who are not the real manifestors of our future. Let's just put it this way, almost 100%, not quite, but almost, shy maybe a 1% factor, the things that we're concerned about never manifest. You ever notice that? Yet, it's that little smidgen that the mind worries about. That little smidgen. The ego mind wants full control of reality, thinking that having a stronger, more strategic hold on this life is the most optimum place to be. Now, when we resist trusting in life, then we stop letting in love and honoring the divine mystery that surrounds us. The ego mind then becomes very tight, tense, demanding, controlling, worried about everything. So, all of this stuff, the anxiety, all these emotion, feelings, become the ego abhors being weak, vulnerable, and unprotected from unexpected change. It thinks that real strength is found in hardness and wants total security, safety, and 100% guarantee that this life will be okay. Yet the ego doesn't realize that life is a perpetual leap of faith into the unknown. What it is. What is life? It is a perpetual leap of faith into the unknown. Now, the ego has forgotten that true strength is found in softness, and that water always wins over rock in the end. Our ego is learning how to have a soft, forgiving heart filled with trust. And for this is the only way to relax, enjoy this lifetime, and truly become worry-free. Now, you can catch yourself all the time being concerned about stuff, right? Maybe even in this right now moment. It can be tricky to catch and sometimes super challenging to stop. We can get accustomed to blindly following the over-analytical, skeptical, doubting mindset and feel this is more intelligent and trustworthy than our free-flowing, spontaneously arising intuition. The worry addict inside us is that part which has stopped appreciating this life just the way it is. You ever notice how many of us are not happy with life exactly the way it is? Constantly complaining, stressing, anxiety, fear, all the time. And a lot of us will say, something's got to give. Something's got to be better than this. This isn't what I came here to do. It feels incapable of accepting that whatever will manifest tomorrow will be for the highest good of all concerned. It's like we become like a 24-hour slave laborer who is constantly efforting for security through pushing the mind to dwell only on a negative perspective of this life. It is illogical and so fearful that it believes thinking positively is just some weak, gullible, naive, unrealistic mindset that is unprepared for some potential future horror that could occur. When you look at a body of water, lake, ocean, river, pond, whatever. Now, we can choose what we're going to do with that water, right? We're going to swim in it, or we're going to float. You see the difference? Now, a lot of people who are, quote-unquote, responsible for their life, and things. Well, floating doesn't get you anywhere. Swimming does. You're not going to float across the lake. You have to swim across the lake. So you're not efforting. You're just sitting there. Now here's the point. When you sit there and you literally contemplate on the now, what difference is all that other stuff? That's the rat race. You got to be doing something. If you aren't doing something, then you're useless. That's how people have been programmed and taught. It's like a Chinese proverb. If your problem has a solution, then why worry about it? If your problem doesn't have a solution, then why worry about it? See? There's not much we can do to convince the super worried mind that a negative outcome is not coming ahead. It's like a biochemical cocktail has been created in the worry-filled brain that make it quite challenging and almost painful to believe in positive thoughts. You ever been there? Some people find it painful to believe in positive thoughts. Most people feel at home, and life is somewhat under control if it keeps thinking negative thoughts. Isn't that amazing? The worried brain cocktail generates this right feeling that we should be worried, concerned, fearful, frightened, scared, stressed. So it generates this feeling that we should be worried and continue on this path being even more serious and concerned about any potentially highly critical or important life situation. So the mind cannot trust this life or take a vacation. For it's never a good time to joke around, have any fun, appreciate our spiritual nature, or celebrate being alive today. Now, when these biochemicals have taken over the brain, it is so powerful that the only place to find any freedom or clarity is by shifting gears into a higher consciousness. When we interject a steady stream of pure awareness into our mind, we slowly stop believing that our fearful fantasy is going to manifest, because then it won't. The energy of pure consciousness acts like a river of clean, clear, flowing water, which purifies away the negative ideas which have little foundation in reality. By simply being aware of our consciousness for a few minutes, we can instantly release our ego's need to be afraid and in control. We can begin to sip a deeper succulent experience of this life that feels open, trusting, loves enjoying the sensations of a deeper relaxation within. The normal self is the mind. The mind is with limitation. But pure consciousness is beyond limitation and is reached by investigation into the I, from Maharishi. You can tell yourself, maybe you've done this, you can tell yourself several million times not to worry, not to stress, not to fear, right? Yet, the reason why it continues is that it is uneducated. It doesn't know how to relax the body, love the mystery, and trust in a perfect future. You know, say, oh, there's no such thing as a perfect future. You can't have a perfect life. It thinks too much, feels too powerless, feels the need to be in control of it all. Yet, when it imagines some fearful scene is occurring, it believes its thoughts are having no energetic impact on the outer environment or people. The mind is ignorant of what quantum physics has proven over the past 50 years, 60, that thoughts are things that impact our world. Thoughts are things that impact our world. You become more and more mindful of your thoughts. Because of this, don't you want to know? I mean, do you want to have the knowing, the awareness, that if you focus on this over here, you're going to create it? You go, I'm not going to focus on that over there. I know I'll create it. So enough of that. So what is it I do want to focus on? This is what I want to focus on. Every thought and feeling we have right in this now moment, every bit of our existence is impacting our environment, community, and the entire world on some level. What we feel, an energetic field, okay? Not through the ego mind, but through the heart mind. It's what we feel. And once we are able to train ourselves to understand, you could feel this planet breathe. You can feel the happiness within you. You can feel the bliss within you. The joy, the peace, the tranquility, the benevolence in you. When any of us shift into a highly emotional state of love, anxiety, or fear, we know people are more prone to doing business with those who live from a state of trust, faith, and connection, rather than worry and fear. We are able to manifest, magnetize, and attract the right people and situations we want when our heart is resonating with the feeling that everything is going to be fine. Now, some will say that. Have you ever said that? Everything's going to be fine? And yet you still have that little tiny feeling, that little, maybe a thought, that maybe it won't. You ever do that? And you know it too. You say, okay, everything's going to be fine. This too shall pass. And then you have that little smidgen of a doubt come in. And this is about us. The more we understand the deep power we each hold in every thought we think, the easier it will become to step back from the stressful, irritable, negative, worried mind and transcend it. Now, if we cannot step away from the mind, we are a mere slave to its forces. When we look at our concerns directly, we may see that they typically are directed what? They're directed at the outer world, right? The mind tends to get hooked on thoughts about possessions, money, situation, home life, our physical body, and what other people think. If our loved ones are doing okay, and what we will manifest in our future, the untrained mind can worry about anything. It is a real creative genius that will poke around every possible fearful corner. Sometimes the mind, what? It'll worry about loved ones, thinking that this is a form of caring about them. It's like, we have a tendency that when someone's ill, right, and that we love or we care for, we worry about what? How bad they are. Are they going to make it? Instead of directly seeing them through the heart-mind as happy, healthy in that body. That body is happy and healthy. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want, whether it's with you or someone you care about. This is an unconscious habit that we have. When you're concerned about somebody, This isn't even debatable. It energetically drains the life force of another person, cutting off our trusting relationship with them and causing them to feel more isolated and lonely in this universe. Be aware. Being concerned, stressed, fearful, all these things is a highly unconscious habit. It's more addictive than cocaine or crack cocaine. It can completely destroy a life that was potentially filled with joy, love, and laughter. Have you ever seen that happen? Have you ever experienced it? I've experienced it. I've seen that. Completely destroy a life that was potentially filled with joy, love, and laughter. Now, if we don't learn how to transcend this addictive mindset, the energy can even implode within ourselves. When this becomes self-abusive, we perpetually doubt ourselves. We doubt who we are, why we're here, what we are doing, and fear being wrong about everything we say and feel. We can end up doubting our lives on every level, and this can evolve into an insanely stressful way of being that manifests into a psychosomatic dis-ease and eventually death. I've seen this so many times happen to wonderful people. Now, this is something to worry about. Okay? It's vital to create a new response to life where we are deeply appreciating and trusting each moment, feeling the great goodness of this life that is naturally here all around us. Once you can totally, openly, directly honest with yourself and say, I am the creator. Okay? I create everything. Then why don't I know that I create everything? How come I don't have that feeling that I create everything? Even when I say it. Because you don't believe it. You don't have the 100% trust, faith, or confidence in yourself to believe it, to embrace it. What you do is you practice, see? All the time you're practicing. You're practicing what? On your confidence, faith, and trust in yourself in this universe. And you start realizing that then you start seeing things that you have created. Now, before they just pass by. You wouldn't even acknowledge that. But now, you are literally recognizing, not judging, but recognizing things like, oh, I created that. I was just thinking about that. And there it is. And remember, there's no such thing as coincidence. What is coincidence? Why was that word created? It's to explain things away that we don't understand. That's what coincidence means. Explain things away that we don't understand. It's really easy to say, oh, that's just a coincidence. No, it's not. And see, what you do is that you begin to understand that. And then coincidence vanishes. It disappears. And with your childlike curiosity, you're probing, you're looking. You're starting to have fun. You're starting to realize that, hey, ego, you're not in charge here. Because the ego can get real feisty, right? And then it starts sending in all kinds of thoughts. And as soon as it sends them in, you recognize it and you say, that's not my thought, that's ego mind thought. And then you go into the now, like you do in the quiet time of this meditation. You focus on your breath by listening to your breath. You get into a comfortable position with your body. You are as still as a statue. You listen. You have no mind chatter. The ego mind is not there. Can't exist in the now. It's in yesterday and tomorrow. And all the situations that you believe are what? Serious are gone. And then you're footloose, fancy-free to ask the universe for what you want. And the main reason that the majority of the people on this planet do not do that is exactly what I've described. They don't have the faith, they don't have the trust, and they don't have the confidence in themselves or this universe. And they may go through this lifetime, the next lifetime, the next one, the next one. Do the same thing over and over and over again. And always be sent back to square one and not understand and just keep going into the circle jerk for a long time. Realize this. Absorb it. Let it just saturate you. It is empowering to know that we can imagine anything we want at any time. And that new thought process will impact our experience of reality. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. This universe has a plan for all of us. It is divine, magnificent. It is our soul's plan as well. Would you like to know it? It will be fully revealed to you the moment you let go of everything in your life and experience your true self in each moment as unbounded and infinite. Take this with you for the rest of the day, to the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here tonight at around 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our Time for Change call, and Thursday, December 14, 2023, around 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our Global Guided Meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest. Eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on outside of you or inside of you.